Hello everyone, welcome to BrainBuzz. So, still incomplete. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to BrainBuzz Academy. Yes, this is me, Umia Salma. I will be presenting you today RRB NTPC free classes. Our topic will be Vedic age, right? Yes. So, at 11 a.m. every day we will be discussing daily current affairs session right in this channel, and at 12:30 we will be discussing about the RRB NTPC classes of general awareness topics, which includes general science as well as other subjects and current affairs too. In BrainBuzz Academy channel, we will be providing current affairs in Telugu, where KVL and I will be discussing about it. Okay. Here I will be dealing with general awareness for RRB NTPC examination, right? So here, now let me start the session. Okay. So yes, a very good afternoon to everyone. And now let me start the session of Vedic period. Let us know what is Vedic period. So yesterday, if you didn't watch my yesterday's class, please do watch so that you can be same level as of now present students are there. See here in yesterday's class, when I was completing my session, I have already said about the various theories why this Indus Valley civilization has been swiped off, right? So what are the causes that Indus Valley civilization was wiped off? So there were many theories. Someone said due to flood, someone said due to the change of course of river Indus, and someone said due to the invasion of Aryans. Let us know where Aryans have came from, right? So see the way the civilization, right? So Aryans are said to be the proponents of Vedic civilization, right? Hence it is known as the Vedic period. So coming to Indus Valley civilization, from 2250 BC to 1750 BC, there was Indus Valley civilization period, right? So, from 1750 BC to 1000 BC, right? For example, 1750 BC to or 1500 BC to 1000 BC, there was a period known as early Vedic period, right? So, which is known as early Vedic period. Here, and from 1000 BC to 500 BC, there was a period known as later Vedic period, right? So both these Vedic periods are different, right? So this period, early Vedic period, may also be known as Rig Vedic period, right? So there was a theory that due to the invasion of Aryans and there was a war, so the Indus Valley civilization was swept off, right? So let us know about this invasion of Aryans, which is known as Vedic period, because in this period the Vedas were profounded, right? So now let us know what is Vedic period. Okay, here coming to Vedic period, Aryans are said to be the proponents of Vedic civilization. So they used to speak a language called as Arya, which was very similar to the later day Sanskrit also. Hence they are called Aryans, right? So the language they speak was similar to Sanskrit, hence they are also called as Aryans. So Aryans means first people. So here coming to the central, now we are accepting the theory of Central Asian theory of Max Muller, which is the widely accepted, sorry for the spelling mistake, which is the widely accepted theory of the origin of Aryans. So we expect that which is given by Max Muller, that is the Central Asian theory of Aryans. Now let us see what is the Central Asian theory of Aryans. So according to Max Muller, he has said that Aryans came from Central Asia to India at this region, right? You can see here, which is known as Sindh region, right? So they travel from Central Asia to India, who are semi-nomadic tribes, right? They travel from one place to other place in order for the cattle rearing, right? So for their food hunting, right? So they are also semi-nomadic people who travel from one place to another. So they started traveling from Central Asia to India. So why These theory is most accepted because the Vedas which were given, that is out of all the four Vedas which were given, that is Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajurveda and Atharvana Veda. So all these resemble the book known as Avesta. So which is famous, which is a book of Zoroastrians, right? Oldest book. So the most principles are same in Vedas as well as in Zen Avesta, right? So which is Zoroastrian's book, right? So hence this theory is most accepted that the Aryans came from Central Asia to in this region, right? Okay, here coming to the next map, we see in detail, right? So here, this is the Sindh region. You can see Thar Desert, all this Sindh region. So this region, as they travel from Central Asia to this region, here the early Vedic period took place, right? Which was from 1500 BC to or 1750 BC to 1000 BC. Okay, so from here they started traveling to this region in the UP region, like nearer to UP MP, right? So here, when they started traveling from this, as I've said, they travel from one place to other place. In case of cattle, for the cattle rearing as well as hunting for food, right? So they started traveling from this place to this place. Then the time is known as later Vedic period. So these two Vedic periods are very different from one another. Okay, let us now start the session in Okay, so this is early Vedic period and this is later Vedic period. So here in this early Vedic period, they do not know anything about iron, but when they came to here, they knew about iron. As here the alluvial soil is present, which is very fertile for especially for agriculture. So they started doing agriculture too, and they used to earn a bit of money from this agriculture, and then kingdoms started establishing small kingdoms. So this comes under the later Vedic period. Then small kingdoms started taking place. See here you can see Kosala Empire. So Magadha, Anga, from where Magadha is very famous next, right? So after all this later Vedic period, we will be reading about Magadha, that is from where Mauryan Empire, post Gupta period, right? So this is all about the history. So now let us see what is the Vedic period. So the most theories we have is, sorry, yes, the most theories views on this original home of Aryans is, so the first theory is about Europe. So Sir W. John's theory, so he has said that Aryans came from Europe, right? So that is first theory. Coming to second theory, which is very famous, and we were accepting this theory known as they came from Central Asia, which is by Max Miller. So Max Miller had said that Aryans had came from Central Asia, which we are accepting and reading this now, right? Okay. Coming to the next theory, that is given by Balagangadhara Tilak, he said that Aryans came from Arctic region. The next theory is from Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who has said that Aryans came from Tibet region, which is opposite side, right? So some say from Central Asia, some say from Europe, okay, some say from Arctic region, which is very in north, right? Some say from Tibet region. But we are accepting the theory of Central Asia only because, as the same Avesta is very similar to our Vedas, so we came into conclusion that as the same Aryans have founded the book Azenda Avesta, which is Zoroastrian's sacred book, so which is same as of the Vedas, which Aryans have found, right? So as there are similarities between two books, so we came to a conclusion that the Central Asian theory, which where Aryans came from Central Asia, is accepted by Max Muller theory, which is very important. See, all these theories is also important. So the questions may be asked, so, according to Balagangadhara Tilak, so where were Aryans came from? So that is Arctic region. So according to Dayananda Saraswati, so Aryans came from Tibet region. According to Sir W. Jones, he said that they came from Europe, and from Max Muller, Central Asia. Right? Yes. Let us move on what is about this. Okay, here when we see the source of knowledge about the Aryans is the Vedic literature, of which all the Vedas are very most important. Coming to Vedas, what is Veda? Ved means knowledge, right? So the Vedas means knowledge. Okay. So the Vedas are not individual religious work. They are just meant for knowledge. Coming to Vedas, the Vedic literature had grown in the course of many centuries and was handed down from generation to generation by the word of mouth. So they don't have particular books in detail, but they are transferred from generation to generation through mouth. So here, hence, they are also known as Shruti, right? The Vedas are also called as Aparusheya, which means they did not compose them. That means humans did not compose them. Okay? Yes, thank you. Here, coming to Aparusheya, that means humans did not Aparusheya. So, no humans did compose the Vedas, as they have said. So, that is a divine book, right? Vedas are divine books, so they are not composed by humans, so hence it is known as Aparusheya. So they are also known as Shruti, as they transferred from generations to generations through mouth, so not by word of mouth, not by books, right? So yes, and they are also known as Nitya, which means they were existing in all eternity. Okay. Now, when we see about the Vedic literature consists of four classes of literary creations named Vedas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. So we have Vedas, then we have Brahmanas and Aranyakas and Upanishads. Now most of the follow Upanishads. At present, in our generation, most of the people follow Upanishads, right? There is a scientific reason why should we follow these one, right? So as now Upanishads is present, so they're all a form of Vedas only. Yes. Coming to type of Vedas, see Vedas are the collection of hymns where we praise God, prayers, chants, litanies, and sacrificial formulae. Coming to Vedas, we have four Vedas, which is the most biggest Veda, that is Rig Veda. So it is the earliest form of Veda. So Yajurveda, it is also called the book of prayers. Samaveda, earliest reference of singing, and Atharvana Veda, which is the book of magic and charms. So these are all the four Vedas known as Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda. So in the Rig Veda, it is the earlier, as it is the earliest form of Vedas. Then Yajurveda, then Samaveda came, which is most of Indian music. So where Indian music origin is also present, right? So in case of Rig Veda, and mostly they are hymns which is to the praise of God, right? They are mandals in the Rig Veda. So we will be discussing more about the Rig Veda in the next slides, right? Okay. So coming to Yajurveda, which is a book of prayers. Atharvana Veda, where Ayurveda came from, which is a book of magic and charms. Okay. Yes, the oldest Veda is Rig Veda. So these are the religious texts, which Shruti and Smriti. As I've said, they are also known as Shruti because they are transferred from generation to generation through the word of mouth. Okay, so these are Vedas. So coming to Vedas, Samhita, which is mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishads are the religious texts which comes under the Shruti. Coming to Smriti, Sutra and Purana, so we have Ramayana, Mahabharata. Okay, so these are all the Vedas books. So coming to Rig Veda, let us know in detail about Rig Veda. So please do share our video so that each and everyone can watch this. So yesterday there were many people, now no one is there. Okay. Coming to Rig Veda, so let us discuss in detail about this Rig Veda. So it was compiled around 1500 to 1000 BC. Hence, this period is also known as early Vedic period or Rig Vedic period, right? So here the meaning of Rig means to praise. The most Vedas here we condense all to the praise of gods. That is, all this collection of hymns is to the praise of gods. So it has been Okay, it has been divided into 10 volumes called mandals. Okay, total there are 10 volumes known as 10 mandals in Rig Veda, right? So in 10 mandals, so the first and 10th one are compiled last. So if the question is asked, everyone say it is first, right? The first one, Mandal 1 and Mandal 10 are compiled last, whereas Mandal 2 to Mandal 7 are the oldest books, and they are also called family books because they are attributed to the family of rishis. So each Mandal is to the family of one family of rishis, right? So they are attributed so, and then Mandal 8 to Mandal 9 belong to the middle time period. So Mandal 2 to Mandal 7 are the oldest books. Mandal 1 and Mandal 10 are the youngest one, I mean last to be compiled, and Mandal 8 to Mandal 9 are the middle time compiled. So coming to Mandal 3, which contains Gayatri Mantra, which was compiled in order to praise the sun god Savitri, right? So yes, this is about Gayatri Mantra. Question will be surely asked from which Mandal Gayatri mantra was compiled. So it is in order to praise the sun god Savitri. This Gayatri mantra is from Mandal 3. Okay. So yes, coming to the next. Yes, in detail about this Rig Veda. So Mandal 10 contains a hymn called Purusha Sukta in which the origin of Varna system is discussed. So yes, this will be very important where the Varna system is discussed is in Mandal 10. So which was compiled later. First and 10th Mandals are compiled later as I said earlier. So in the 10th Mandal, the Varna system was discovered. So first time Varna system was discovered in the Mandal 10. Okay. So here, those rishis who are expert in Rig Veda are known as Hotra or Hotris. The Rig Veda has many things in common with Avesta, so which is the oldest text of Iranian language, that is Zoroastrian. So we accept the theory of Central Asian Miller theory, right? So yes, Rig Vedas have more similar in comparison to the Zain Avesta, which is a Zoroastrian sacred book. So yes, coming to the seven rivers, I will be discussing it in later. Okay, Sapt Sindhava region. Coming to the next Veda, we have Samaveda. So in this Samaveda, there are total 1549 verses, right? Except 75 verses, all have been taken from Rig Veda only. So Samaveda is mostly about music, right? So here in this Samaveda, it is considered as a root of the Indian music as well as classical music and dance, every forms, right? So the total two Upanishads embodied in this Samaveda are Chendo, Chen, Chendogaya Upanishad and Kena Upanishad. So it is also considered as the storehouse of melodious chants. So we will be chanting, right? So suppose if you know any slogan or poetry, you need to chant in a musical way. So if you see priests, they chant different way when compared to us, right? So which is known as the melodious chants, right? So though it has lesser verses than Rig Veda, however its texts are larger. So yes, there are three recensions of these texts of Samaveda. They are known as Kautuma, Ranayanya, and Jaimaniya. Okay. So Samaveda is categorized into two parts. Part 1 includes melodies called Gana and part 2 includes three verses book called Archika. I don't think these are important, but if any so questions are asked, okay. Samaveda Samhita is not meant to be read as a text. It is like a musical score sheet that must be heard, okay. So you can see when we type music we have a notes of music, right? So it is same. So these texts are long when compared to Rig Veda but have lesser verses when compared to Rig Veda. So nearly 1549 were taken from Rig Veda only. Samaveda is mostly about music, okay. So yes, coming to the next Veda, that is Yajur Veda, okay. So see here, Yajurveda is of two types. So this question is very important. Yajurveda is of two types, right? In case of Yajurveda, the Krishna Yajurveda, which is known as black magic, black Yajurveda. So Shukla, which is white or bright. Okay. Here, Krishna Yajurveda has an unarranged or unclear motley collection of verses, whereas Shukla Yajurveda, which is white or bright, has arranged and clear verses. So coming to Krishna Yajurveda, which has two renditions, where Shukla Yajurveda has four, right? So total Yajurveda is of two types, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda, right? So in case of Krishna Yajurveda, we have only two recessions. In case of Shukla, which is white one, good one, has four, right? So in total, the oldest layer of Yajurveda has 1875 verses, which were mostly taken from Rig Veda only. So here, the youngest one of layer of Yajurveda consists of various Upanishads like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Isha Upanishad. See, these Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad is very most important one. Okay, so and Isha Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. Can you tell me the speciality of Katha Upanishad, please? And then Shweta Swatra Upanishad and Maitri Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. More questions are asked from this Katha Upanishad also. So there are also four surviving recensions of Krishna Yajurveda known as Taittiriya Samhita, Maitrayani Samhita, Katha Samhita, and yes, Kapisthala Samhita. Okay, so this is about Yajurveda, which is of two types, Krishna and Shukla Yajurveda. Okay, Krishna means dark, Shukla means white or bright. Okay. Coming to next one, Atharvana Veda, where Ayurveda is taken from. Okay. So these daily procedures of life are very well enumerated in this Veda. So as I've said, it contains 730 hymns, suktas or 600 mantras and 20 books of Atharva Veda. So Paipalada and Saunakya are the two recensions of Atharvana Veda. So, a Veda, it mostly includes three mainly Upanishads. They are Mundaka Upanishad, where Satyamev Jayate is being taken from, and then Mandukya Upanishad and Prashna Upanishad. So, the question will be asked out of which Upanishad is Satyamev Jayate or emblem is being taken from? That is Mundaka Upanishad. Okay. Okay. So here the total 20 books are arranged by the length of hymns they contain. Unlike Samaveda, where hymns are borrowed from Rigveda, so here hymns of Atharvana Veda are unique and except a few, right? So only few of them are borrowed from Rigveda, but in case of Samaveda, many, like nearly 1593 were borrowed from Rigveda. But here in case of Atharva Veda, so very few are borrowed from Rigveda. So these Atharveda Veda is mostly all about charms, magic spells like Ayurveda, okay, which are all meant to pronounce by the person who seeks some benefit, or more often by sources who would say it on his or behalf. Okay, okay. So this is all about four. Now coming to Upanishads, we have, so first let us know what is Brahmanas. Okay, yes, 1549. Yes, sorry. 1549 verses were taken from Rig Veda in Samaveda. Okay. So coming to Brahmanas, those are the, yes. Coming to Brahmanas, we have those are prose texts which contains details about the meanings of Vedic hymns, their applications, stories of their origins also. So where they have came from, so applications, stories of their origins. So coming to Aitreya or Kaushikati Brahmanas, which are assigned to the Rig Veda, Tandya and Jaiminya Brahmanas to Samaveda, Taitreya and Shatapatha Brahmanas to Yajurveda, and Gopad Brahmanas to Atharvana Veda, I have said. So, coming to the oldest of all the Brahmanas, this is very important question. So, the oldest of all the Brahmanas is Tandya Brahmana is the oldest of all the Brahmanas. Coming to Satapatha Brahmana, which is the most voluminous among all Brahmanas. So, both these questions are important. Coming to Brahmanas, Tandya is the oldest one. Okay, Satapatha has is more in volume. Okay, so these are about the Brahmanas. Let us know about Aryanakas. Okay, here, these are the concluding portion of Brahmanas. Here, they are also called Aryankas because these Aryankas were mostly in forest, okay, which because the mystical and philosophical character of their content required that they should be studied only in the solitude of Aranya. You can also see when you know little bit of Mahabharata, there where Ravan as well as Meghadut perform some yagna in forest, right? So this is all about the aranyakas. So in order for these aranyakas, you need to have solitude in the forest. So this should be studied only in the forest. So as the name itself has the aranyakas, okay, they initiated a changeover from materialistic region to spiritual region as they have formed a tradition that culminates into the Upanishads. Okay, so Upanishads are at present mostly most of the people follow Upanishads only. So coming to Aranyakas are like bridge between Vedas, Brahmanas and Upanishads. So these lays between the bridge. Okay. Now let us know about Upanishads. Okay. So which is the last phase of Vedic literature. So Upanishads deal mostly with metaphysics, that is philosophy. Okay. They are also called as Vedantas. Upanishads are also known as Vedantas, right, which are the last books to be compiled in the series of Vedic literature. So these contains objects matters that soul, Brahman, rebirth, theory of karma, etc., which most religions follow, right? Like even in Buddhism it has same like soul, Brahman, rebirth, theory of karma, etc. Upanishads emphasize the path of knowledge. The literal meaning of, yes, the literal meaning of Upanishads is to sit near the feet of Upanishad. Upanishad, sit near the feet of. So the most important Upanishads are Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Here we have the Katha Upanishad, Isha Upanishad and Prasna Mundaka Upanishad, etc. Mundaka Satyamev Jayate. Can you tell me Katha Upanishad? Question was asked from Katha Upanishad. So the conversation of Yama and Nachiketa is the subject matter of Katha Upanishad. So everyone coming to Upanishads, everyone think that, so not everyone. So see here coming Mundaka, as I've said, Satyamev Jayate is they took from Mundaka Upanishad, right? So here what happens? So everyone thinks the question will be asked only from Mundaka Upanishad, but recently in some of the examination, it has asked about the Katha Upanishad, right? So the dialogue or the conversation between whom and whom is the Katha Upanishad. So these Yama and Nachiketa, which is a very famous one, Katha Upanishad, between a conversation between Yama and Nachiketa, right? So this question is very important, as well as this Mundaka Upanishad. The word Satyameva Jayate, which is in the national emblem, is taken from Mundaka Upanishad. So let us see what is Satyameva Jayate 1 2. So coming to national emblem, where it is taken from? Yes, yeah, the conversation between Emma and Nachiketa is from Katha Upanishad. So Satyamev Jayate, which is written in the national emblem, where we have. So, so can you tell me the national emblem? So where it was taken from Sarnath line. So yes, it was taken from Ashoka's capital, okay, Sarnath. So here we have lions and the other animals which are present in our national emblem. Can you please name few? The animals which are present on the national emblem. So here we also have a Satyamev Jayate. Yes, Sarnath from Madhya Pradesh. Yes. So we have lions. So we have bull, horse, elephant. Yes, bull, horse, elephant. Very good. So we have another few, but we cannot see, right? We can see only three lions, right? Back there was another lion. We have tiger too. So this is about our national emblem, Satyamev Jayate, which is from Mundaka Upanishad, and Katha Upanishad, the conversation between Yama and Nachiketa. So there are total 108 Upanishads, and this is so I have not mentioned here, but let me tell you, total 108 Upanishads are present. Okay. Yes, horses, elephants are also present. Good. Now coming to the see here. Yes. Sorry. Let me move to the next topic. Yes. So here what happened? Let us discuss about the early Vedic period, which is the Rig Vedic period. Okay. So yes. Okay. So here, the early Aryans lived in the geographical area covered by eastern Afghanistan, northwest frontier province Punjab, and western Uttar Pradesh. So coming to Vedic periods, these two are also important. Okay, here we have in coming to Vedic period, we need to know about all the four Vedas, the Brahmanas, Aryanyakas, and Upanishads as well. As well as coming to Vedic periods, we have two Vedic periods. One is early Vedic Aryans, and next one is later Vedic period. So both are very different. Now let us see in detail what are these. Okay, here the early Aryans lived in the geographical area covered by eastern Afghanistan, northwest frontier province, Punjab, and western Uttar Pradesh. So here, initially, the Aryans lived in the land known as Sapta Sindhu. So here, let us see what are the rivers. This question will be surely asked. Okay, coming to Sapta Sindhu, which is the land of seven rivers. Sapta Sindhu, land of seven rivers. Okay, so these seven rivers were Sindhu. Sindhu means Indus River, modern river known as Sindhu, Indus. Okay, Vipash, that means Bias. Now at present, Bias is known as Vipash. Vitasta, Jheelam, Parushini, Ravi, Askini, Chinab, Shaturdi, Satlaj, and Saraswati, rivers. Okay, Saraswati is same as Saraswati at present. So these are the seven most important rivers which will surely be asked in the examination. I bet you. So here there are total seven Sapta Sindhus, total seven rivers. So as it covers all those rivers in the northwestern province of India. So here these are the names of the rivers: Sindhu, modern Indus; Vipash, modern Bias; Vitasta, Jhelum, Parushini, Ravi, Askini, Chenab; Shatubdi, Satluj, and Saraswati. Most questions will be from Vipash, Vitasta, and Parushini and Askini. Okay, okay. Coming to political structure of early Vedic periods, we have monarchical form of government with a king known as Rajan. So there was a king. So small kingdoms were found. They are mostly tribes. Okay, the head of the tribe is known as Jana. Okay, so patriarchal families. Let me tell you what is patriarchal families, where the domination of father will be more. That means each and every decision will be taken by father only. So in the early Vedic period also, there is patriarchal families. For example, in North India, we have patriarchal families more. So the domination of father will be more when compared to mother. Where in case of South India, the domination of mother will be more, right? So this is about the patriarchal families in the early Vedic regions. So Jana was the largest social unit in this Rigvedic times. The king is known as Rajan. Okay, the total social grouping is known as Kula, that means family. Grama means Vishu, that is Jana. Jana will be the head of the Grama. Coming to tribal assemblies known as Sabha and Samiti. So examples of tribal kingdoms that were present are Bharatas, Matsyas, Yadus and Kurus. Okay, so there were two Sabhas as well as Samiti. Now at present we have, like, okay. Coming to social structure of these early Vedic period, so women enjoyed a respectable position. So both male and women were treated equally. So here in the early Vedic period only there was general equality, right? So they were allowed to take part in Sabha as well as Samiti. So there are women poets too, like Apala, Lopamudra, Vishwara, and Ghosha too. So coming to cattle, especially cows were very important. So monogamy was practiced. So only one wife used to be there. But in case of royal families, that means like Janas who is kings, Rajan, they used to have a polygamy marriage. Okay, there was no child marriage, no, not sati was practiced there. Okay, so yes, in the early Vedic period. Okay, so coming to social distinctions existed but were not rigid and hereditary also. So that means, for example, if someone is doing pottery, that means his son doesn't need to do pottery. He can be a goldsmith or he can be a priest. Okay, so anything. So that was not rigid, not hereditary. So this is about the social distinctions. Okay, now let us move on to the next. Yes, coming to the economic structure of Rigveda, so they were a pastoral and cattle rearing people. They used to practice agriculture. So iron is the wrong answer here. Okay, so they the products most known were copper, bronze were in use. So sorry for the inconvenience. Iron is not present in the early Vedic period. Only later Vedic people know about the iron, right? Okay, so iron was not present here. Only they knew about copper as well as bronze. So they used to have horse chariots. Okay, so horses were not used mostly, only for the horse chariots. Rivers were used for transport. Cotton and woolen fabrics were spun and used. Initially, the trade was connected through barter system only. They do not have much more seals, so only barter system, give and take. But later on, coins were present known as nishka, which were used. Okay, so, coming to the religions, they used to worship natural forces like earth, fire, wind, rain, thunder, etc. by personifying them into deities. Like, so most famous one was Varuna. Sorry, Indra. Indra thunder Indra for thunder was very famous deity among these people, right? So there was no temples, nor statue worship, nor idol worship, right? So no idol worship was present at that time. So no temples are also present. Female deities are also worshipped, like Ushas and Aditi were also worshipped. So Indra was famous among them. Indra was the most important deity among them. Other deities were Prithvi, Earth, Agni, fire, Varuna, rain, and Vayu, wind. So this is all about the early Vedic period. Yes, Vargad Indra. Coming to the later Vedic period. So as I've said, so suppose I'm not good at drawing, okay? So okay. Here they used to live in this region, right? Early Vedic people, as Aryans came from here, they used to live here, which is known as early Vedic period. But as I've said, they are semi-nomadic people. They used to travel from one place to another in search of food for hunting, cattle rearing. Okay, so they started traveling from here to here in the central India. So then they found iron. So there was alluvial soil present, which is very fertile soil for especially for agriculture, right? So they started doing agriculture. So as slowly kingdoms started forming here. So the later Vedic period is very different when compared to the early Vedic period. So small kingdoms started forming. So they knew about iron. They started making tools with iron. So they also knew copper. They used to Yes, they used to do agriculture. They knew about rice, barley. Okay, they were staple crops at that time, barley, rice. Okay, now let us know about the later Vedic period. So coming to early Vedic was from 1500 BC to 1000 BC, which is early Vedic. Now coming to later Vedic or painted grey ware phase, which is from 1000 BC to 600 BC. Here, during this time, the Aryans moved eastwards, as I've said, and occupied all the western and eastern UP, that is Kosala, very famous Kosala, and Bihar. The political structure of these later Vedic periods are kingdoms like Mahajanapadas were formed by amalgamating smaller kingdoms, as I've said, as they knew about iron, everything. They know how to do business, right? They used to also get money from agriculture, what they are growing. So as they were giving taxes, then small kingdoms started forming. So all these kingdom formed Mahajanapadas. Okay, so the king's power increased as day by day, and various sacrifices were also performed by them in order to enhance this position. But in case of early Vedic period, they used to praise God, but then there were no sacrifices like yagnas, all these. In case of early Vedic, but here various sacrifices were also present, like giving animals, everything. So sacrifices are Rajasuya, which is very important. Rajasuya sacrifice, that is consecration ceremony. Vajpaya, that is chariot race. Ashwamedha, horse sacrifice. So you will all know about the meanings of this, right? So the Sabha and Samiti were not. So women were given very less importance. Let us see in detail. So coming to social structure. So as I've said, Varna system was in Mandal 10. The first time Varna system was discovered in Mandal 10 of Rig Veda. Okay. Coming to later Vedic system. So in early Vedic there was Varna system, but it depends upon what people likes to do what they know. But here the Varna system became hereditary. There that was not hereditary. Here the Varna system of social distinction became more distinct. These become less based on occupation and more hereditary. So Aryans, mostly these later Vedic Aryans, believe that if father does so, so then the son also has a good habit of doing so, because from childhood he started seeing what his father was doing, right? So it became hereditary in the case of later Vedic period. So the four divisions of society had made. So the first one will be Brahmanas, priests who know about all the books, Kshatriyas who are rulers, and then Vaishyas, agriculturists, and the people who do less than that, they are known as Shudras, so lower class people, servers of the upper three classes. Right, coming to women who are not permitted to attend public assemblies like Sabha Samitis. So here discrimination started. That means there was no gender equality. Women are not allowed to sabhas or samitis. Then child marriages were common, and sati was also practiced at this time. Okay, so subcastes were also based on occupations or all emerged. So and then Gotras. So Gotras were institutionalized. So what happened in Gotras? Let me tell you. First, as the cattle rearing was very important, as I said, cow was very important to them, right? So they said that if the same quality of cow, for example, a Ongol breed, if Ongol breed is given to Ongol breed only, that means, so what we say, crossbreeding. Okay, so if Ongol breed to Ongol breed, there won't be any distinction of characteristics, right? So same DNA will be there. So then these happen, that is, so Gotra should be institutionalized. So these given to the cows. So these was followed to the animals as well, that means different caste. So different caste, same caste should be given. So this is all about the institutionalizations, and their Gotras were also present. Right, coming to economic structure, agriculture was a chief occupation here. Industrial work like metal work, pottery, carpentry work were also there. There was a foreign trade also with off regions like Babylon, Sumeria, that is Mesopotamian religion. Coming to religion, we have Prajapati, creator, Vishnu, preserver. See here, When compared to early Vedic, Indra was very famous deity. Indra, Varuna, Agni, Earth, Prithvi. Right now here, so they started believing in Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Right. So that is Prajapati. Vishnu became important gods here. Indra and Agni lost their significance in the later Vedic period. Coming to importance of prayer, it has diminished and sacrifices were more like Ignas. These Rajasviya practices started becoming. So as they started becoming people, so what happens? See here, as the caste system became hereditary, right? So, yes, they also destroyed Shiva. Yes, coming to here, as this caste system became hereditary, that means what father does, then the son also does the same. That means now the domination of priests, Kshatriyas has become more, right? So the Shudra people and the Kshatriya people felt what the domination of Brahmanas. So let me tell you the Buddhism as well. Lord Gautam Buddha as well as Lord Mahavira are from Kshatriya family only. Okay, so they thought that the domination of priests are getting more, so there were many rituals or religions came out, right? Out of which Chalukyan Buddhism and Jainism religion were emerged, and at the end of this period, right? So the priestly caste, as they become very more powerful, as they dictated rules, whatever they need to do, they need to ask, right, for the rites as well as rituals. So because of this orthodoxy, Buddhism, Jainism, there are also Chalukyan a religion. Okay, but as this child, see, let me tell you. Yes, here these are all the 16 Mahajanapadas. I have said small kingdoms made into a large kingdom known as Mahajanapadas. So here these Chalukya, Buddhism, Jainism. Okay, this kingdom emerged as important. Many more came, but these three has become more important and established. Coming to Chalukyan, that means live what you want to live, not fear for the future. So too much luxury in this religion. When compared to Jainism, very strict rules to be followed. You need to consider each and every point in this, right? So Buddhism, what does Buddhism does is it has incorporated both this, so there was not that much strict, so some amount of luxury, not too much luxury. So now Buddhism and Jainism became more famous and established in all over the countries in the world. Okay, so now this is all about the Aryans, invasion of Aryans. We have learned about the four Vedas, early Vedic period and later Vedic period. So first it was Indus Valley civilization, Vedic period. Now it started the Magadha system, then Buddhism and Jainism came. So we will be learning about Buddhism, Jainism, then Magadha Empire, Gupta period, post Gupta. So we will be going on to the history. So yes, this is all about the Vedic period. If you have any doubts, please message me. Okay. Yes. So any doubts, please? Do you have any doubts? Okay, no doubts. Chapter of 16 Mahajanapadas. So here what happened is these small kingdoms started forming, and these 16 Mahajanapadas took place, right? So there was not no capital, all 16 king. So in India total there was 16 Mahajanapadas, small kingdoms. There was no particular capital here. Okay. Yes. So in the next class we will be dealing with Buddhism and Jainism. I will also be getting MCQs of this Indus Valley civilization and Vedic period. Okay. In the next class, we will be discussing MCQs. So please do prepare and please share my video, right? Please share my video with your friends. Again, press the like button if you like my video and press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Okay. Thank you. So have your lunch. Be safe. Stay at home.